get me better stuff. Hello. Say something.
Something.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the world, The MakonShow. Today, I have an amazing woman, a soldier, a fighter. With me today, I have...
Sarah Martinez.
Hey! Sarah Martinez. Today, we actually have a live audience.
No.
How you feeling, Sarah?
Good. Today is a good day.
What did you do today?
Just work and kids and typical from next thing to next thing, nonstop.
Where are you from, Sarah?
I was born up in Layton.
Layton.
And you know I'm from Utah if I say Layton.
Shout out to Layton.
Instead of Layton.
It's not Layton.
It's Layton. Then I was raised in Provo, just up the street actually.
So you're a P-Town girl.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I walk around saying that, but
Yeah.
I am.
How'd you like growing up here?
I loved it and I hated it.
Why is that?
Everyone's heard of the Utah County bubble. It's a true thing.
Yes.
It's 100% true thing. But, it's also good for my kids to be raised up. It's good family environment. It's safe here.
Once you moved here, where did you go?
Westridge, Dixon.
Oh, you went to Dixon?
Yeah.
That's the homie school.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the ghetto one. If you can get ghetto in Provo, right?
That's the
as
one.
Ghetto as you get, but it's not that ghetto.
What high school did you go to?
Provo High.
P-Town.
I loved Provo High, to be honest. Yeah.
Better than Timview?
Oh, hell.
100%.
Hell yes.
You said you played soccer, right?
Uh-huh.
How did that start?
I used to play football.
Oh, football as a
Before
girl?
soccer.
Wow.
Only girl on the league ever. Because I grew up with 5 older brothers, so I was very athletic and tomboy almost. But I missed the signups for football, so I had to do soccer. And I hated it because everybody was doing soccer, right? As soon as I stepped on that field, I'm like, this is my sport.
Have you learned a lot from soccer?
And everything in life, as a mom, even coaching, playing, so many aspects. Just even playing, like when I was in high school, the things I went through, and you know what I mean?
Do you ever go back in time and just like relive those memories? Understand how much you probably didn't take it all in?
Yeah, like you don't appreciate it as it's going. I don't know. I always appreciate it because soccer was like my escape from my world. What was going on at
But
home.
did you appreciate it as much as you appreciate it now?
I appreciate it differently.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I look back and I was just like, you're just living that moment, thinking about it. I'm like, oh, this is her and this is her, and I haven't seen her forever, and like just reliving it. It was a good time.
So after high school, where did your life go?
I did the typical Utah thing and got married too young.
Mm-hmm.
I made it to the UVU team, and it was a choice between playing and going to school or him going to school. And I made the wrong decision. We focused on him because he could make more, right? So
what did he do?
He was going into like IT computer stuff, but he only went to school for like 6 months and dropped out. But it was an accelerated course. And so he went long enough to charge up all the, fees for it. And then
did he got a lot of debt? Mm-hmm. Oh man, that sucks.
I wish I wouldn't have made that decision because I think my life would have kind of taken a turn for a completely different life if I would have chosen for me to go to school too. Like I think we could have worked it out.
It's so hard when you grow older and you understand that life is all about decisions.
Mm-hmm. One little decision sets you on a whole different path.
One little thing.
I feel like I could have gone more personally with soccer, but I've always stayed in soccer, playing and stuff like that. So I got my taste of soccer. I didn't go as far as I wanted to, but now I get to experience through my kids and coaching. I've never stopped and I won't.
Once you made the decision, I'm not going to pursue my soccer dreams, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to follow my husband. We're going to do what he needs to do. Did you get pregnant right after that?
No. Engaged when I was 18, married when I was 19, and I didn't get pregnant until 22. Okay, I didn't get married to have kids. It was just in Utah, that's the next thing you do.
So you got married and then you guys had a kid at 22. That was what, 4 years right after, right?
About, yeah.
Was that a good thing for you guys?
No. 9 months later, we got divorced.
Do you think he was not ready for that?
He's an amazing dad, good dad. It's just that we grew differently. I'm very athletic. I have to be outgoing, doing stuff, being outside. And he more grew to the video games IT side. When I met him, he was like active, breakdancing, stuff like that. But it's just, you're different people. It's such a growing time.
Yeah.
Nobody
knows. Especially in your 20s.
Yeah.
After you guys split, you had a kid. How did that change? What did you do right after that? Because that's got to be a traumatic position. You're with somebody you're supposed to love, and you guys now
you kind of have to start over. Went back to mom's for a minute, but then I met my next husband playing soccer like right after.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Shout out to soccer.
I know. Pretty soon after I got divorced, I was with him. I lived together with him and had a kid with him for a year and a half before we got married. It was like he had a kid, I had a kid, and we came together, had a kid.
Oh, he had a kid already?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was kind of like a surprise in a way, like that came into it. But it was a good scenario, like coming in. So when we got married, we had all 3 of the kids together to be a part of it, which was kind of cool. But it just was, I think, a lot on us at the very beginning. You know, I was 23. It was a lot at that age. I didn't get to experience, like you say, I didn't get to get in my 20s.
And you didn't get to experience the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very important phase. Just to love each other, like that young love that is like it's barely starting.
To grow.
Yes, to grow. But then now you guys were co-parenting. Your situation is so hard because it's not just 2 people have a kid.
You have to deal with the outside.
You were 23, 30-year-olds can't even deal with that.
Exactly. Well, and I dealt with it because growing up, we had the yours, mine, and ours. That's what we call it. Okay. Yours, mine, and ours together, kind of. We had a yours, mine, and our family. So I dealt with it growing up because my brothers, I didn't know any difference. I didn't know what step and half meant. They were my brothers, and they still are. We never call them half brothers, step brothers, stuff like that. I knew about it. I kind of experienced, but my husband at the time, he just, it was a hard thing to like deal with at going through it all. I think I was forced to grow up a lot quicker because my childhood wasn't the best. You know, it was like very intense and my mom was very abusive. The minute I turned 18, I was out that door.
Was she physically abusive or verbally?
Everything. I would rather the physical abuse than the mental and like the put up because that sticks in your head forever.
At 20, you said 23, right? You got with him and you guys had kids together now. How was the relationship?
I think from the beginning, because of how we came together, it was always rocky, but it was off and on. There was good, there was bad, which is in every relationship, you know, but it was a lot of factors. The culture shock for me, because, you know, him being Mexican, there was a whole culture there that was expected of me almost. And I was raised completely different. I was raised as like an equal. There's no boy, girl.
Yeah, it's America. It's America.
Gender roles wasn't big in my family. Like my brothers treated me the same. My dad treated me the same as my brothers. He taught me how to change my tire, change my brakes. Like, you know what I mean? I can patch holes in wall. Like I did a lot of stuff with my dad. Like
probably gotta help me with that.
I got you.
I saw that. I was like, man, I gotta fix that. I'll let you can't see it. You know what I'm saying? It's another story for another day.
We'll show you later.
We'll show you what's it? Do it yourself? DIY.
DIY.
DIY. Yeah.
Right. No, DIY.
DIY. DIY.
Yeah.
So you were in that relationship. Was that relationship pretty hard?
Very hard, especially towards the end.
Why is that?
We had a lot of communication problems, but I'm the type, it's like, you do you. Like, if you want to go somewhere, you go somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm not super jealous or super controlling. Like, you be your own person. On the flip side, he kind of was like more of the jealous. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. Yeah. To a certain degree. You know, there are some people that are like, you literally can't. He would just kind of throw that guilt out there. Like, you're going to do this instead of do this with your kids, or, you know what I mean? So I never felt like I could be myself, really, and do the things I want to do because I had mom guilt and wife guilt and stuff like that.
That's a real thing. Women don't like to talk about it, but a lot of women go through that.
And that's the thing. I feel like it was kind of used against me because he knew that was important to me, you know, to be a good mom, to be a good wife, especially going through the childhood that I went through. I knew what I didn't want my kids to feel like and go through. And so I always was worried about being a good mom. Kind of capitalized on that a little bit. Like the first time I went out of state without him was to a women's soccer tournament with a bunch of my friends, and it was just like guilt the whole time. The first day I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning their time, which is 5 here.
Oh, okay.
The next day I woke up at 5, which is 6 there, and he got mad that I woke up an hour earlier because he felt insecure that I was out partying or something.
How long had you guys been together?
At that time, probably about 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
You gotta trust somebody after 10 years.
I'm a very loyal person. If someone would like do something inappropriate or send a message or anything, I would literally screenshot it, send it right to him, because I knew he was insecure. And if he would tell me like, oh, I don't like you being friends with this guy on Facebook because of this, and okay.
You delete him?
Oh yeah, because to me it's just like I would not put anybody above my marriage because that's who I'm with. Like, who's this person? Like they're on Facebook.
They don't matter.
Pretty much. I never felt like it really went away. I felt like it was always kind of like
it was lingering around.
And it's just like, why does he not trust me? And sometimes he would say, well, you know, because I don't treat you good, you're gonna go off and find someone. And I'm like, oh, well then just treat me better. Then we're good.
Yeah, guys, you see that? That's
Simple.
the secret of life.
You have your own answers. You're like, since I don't treat you good, like
treat them better.
Like sit and think on that for just a sec. You'll come up with a solution.
Where do you think that insecurity came from?
I know exactly where it came from. Let's see. It started in 2020. Like I found out that he was kind of messing around with other girls the whole time we were together.
After 10 years.
So I found out that he was talking to a girl, having messages back and forth right when we were about to get married. You know what I mean? Which guys have cold feet, all this stuff. Okay. But it was very innocent in my head, like
10
what
years
I saw.
Before.
Yeah. But I had never heard anything or saw anything in between that, and he even said at one point, you haven't found anything. When are you gonna like let this go? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. Dang. But the key word was you haven't found. I should have listened to that. He didn't say, oh my God. I didn't do anything.
Oh my God. That's so funny how it's just how we talk. We kind of give it away, right? As a humans. Yeah. It's crazy.
There's so many things that I look back on what he said and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Bing, yeah.
Why he was so upset with me going on that trip. That day that he was mad, I woke up later. He met with a girl. Like,
No.
Yeah, it was funny because when I started finding out, it like consumed me, but matching up all the timelines and I'm like, oh my gosh.
This
okay, yes. That's why he acted like, that's why he did that. Still at that point, like I still am not usually the type that be like, let me see your phone, let me do, you know what I mean?
You were
like,
still believing in like, hey, I want this marriage to last.
Well, and so you tell me and explain. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I never questioned him those 10 years. I never like caught him anything really. Like I would make little comments or something, in the sense of like, go get your girlfriend. You know what I mean? The comments that you make, but that's why I would say, after how many years, when are you going to give it up? It was more of like, just in case, Before I found out what I found to trigger that, I had not even touched his phone for over a year. And I did it on purpose because it's just toxic to me. It kind of consumes you. But it just happened to be there on like a message. And it's one of those stories. It was like supposed to happen, I felt like. Because the whole process of everything that happened led me here. You know what I mean? So it's just like I spent the next 6 months of fighting my gut instinct of it not being true. He'd tell me and I'm like, okay. And my gut was like, bitch.
Come on.
You're not that stupid. Because I never questioned him. He thought he was a good liar. And he was not a good liar.
We suck at lying.
Literally.
Okay? Just be honest.
And that's the thing is he thought he was good. The shit he would come up with, I'd be like, the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, because he never had to lie before, really. Like, he lied little things in here. But when I was like, but you said this and this. When I started holding on to information that he would tell me,
and
I was like, no, because you said that. Like, one of my favorites. He's going to kill me. So he kept lying to me, kept lying to me. I knew there was shit and I knew he was lying. So I went FBI and I put shit on his phone. And I had full access to this motherfucker.
Yeah.
I could hear him through his own speaker. I could see him through his own camera front and back. Even when he was taking a fucking shit. I could see every message that came through. It had a keylogger. It came to his phone. It came to me. It notified me. Like, I could update it instantly. I knew his location.
That's what you get.
I spent 6 months and I kept saying, listen, just tell me.
Yeah.
Please just tell me. Just tell me the truth. Whatever it is, just lay it all out there and I will forgive you and we'll move on from here.
Sarah, okay, let's take it serious. I feel like that's cap. I feel like girls.
No, I swear to God.
Swear to God.
I swear to God. And I know it's true because when the truth finally came out, I did. I did work with him.
Did he tell you?
He had to.
Okay. I love how you say he had to.
Yeah. I found it. He had to admit it and he still didn't in the end. I found out more after that. But it was enough to prove that he had done stuff against our marriage, been physical. That was my thing. More than just talking.
That's scary.
Physical.
That's when it's like, oh, you really don't respect me. You don't care about the relationship.
Yeah. And then as soon as you hear him physical, like the first thing I did the next day is go get tested. Because you never know. And I did catch some stuff from him. Minimal stuff. So I'm thankful for it. But mono. Yeah. That's how I first wondered. I was not feeling good. When I was pregnant, I would get really bad anemia. I was anemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I thought it was flaring back up. And she's like, oh, no, so you're just getting over mono. And mono is a kissing disease.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You can't get it any other way?
You can get it from like straws and stuff like that.
But it's mostly like, yo, who you been smooching on? You know what I mean?
There's no necessary proof, but
if you put it together, it makes sense.
One other thing that's just not as bad, take some antibiotics, you know what I mean, type thing. But it's just like, this motherfucker. Because I'm like, did you not even like think to protect? He's like, well, because he's TMI, I don't know, but he's he can't have kids.
Yeah, exactly.
He's fixed. So he didn't worry about that because he couldn't get girls pregnant. That's what was in his mind. He wasn't thinking of me and protecting me and bringing something home to me.
Comes to the respect.
And most girls that mess around like that are probably messing around with
no
judgment on those girls.
No, it's true, 100%.
A lot of times,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
They're doing stuff. Reading some of the comments and stuff, he actually played them as well.
Really?
And they were pulled into it, and he would tell them lies. I don't think he's a narcissist, but I see narcissistic traits in him.
Okay, yeah. That makes
and
sense.
So it was more that like he was protecting himself. He would tell them whatever he needed to get whatever he wanted. He told me, again, he could be lying to me, he never wanted to switch me out for them. So how I found out things were going on is I questioned him on something that didn't make sense.
Okay.
And whenever I questioned him, he'd make this big old scene because he wanted me to stop questioning him. Yep. He didn't want it to come out, and he knows me. Yep. He knows when I want to know something, when I want to do something,
you go all the way.
I don't stop. Yeah. And so he was trying to get me to stop. Little by little, he's getting more and more physical as it was coming along.
Oh.
But he like grabbed my phone. No, first he had his phone and threw it.
Through a wall or?
Towards the window. I think it hit the blinds, but it shuttered his thing. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, and I went to go pick up his phone, and I turned around and he's like snapping my phone
because he wants you to pay attention of the rage that's going on and try to calm it down instead of he
almost
did
like too scared to keep looking because he's throwing this big fit, right? He knew all my information was on my phone. This bitch backs her shit up. She has receipts on receipt. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid. So we get into it, and he wouldn't let me leave. I have video of me like trying to run out the door. Things that happen in front of the kids. When I replayed it and I heard their voices, watching him do that to me, their voices of terror, and like I bet it's so much confusion too because they love their dad. I promised myself anytime it started building up, I would leave. Yeah. So from then I left so many times and would sleep in my car, and go down the way, go up to ALA or something, and like sleep in my car. Just get out. Stuff. Just get out. I promised one of my older ones that we're not gonna fight because he was getting anxiety. So that's how I got that phone. So I had my phone, and his phone is broken, and I took it with me. And he realized that and was like, "Oh shit!" He came to my work knocking on it. I wouldn't let him in. I'm like, I don't have it. I had it, but I had my IT guy like, hey, can you bust this shit? You know what I mean? Like I had programs that can pull up deleted. They say girls are like Lowkey FBI agents.
Yeah, 100%.
It's true. 100% true.
I know a lot of girls are going like, yes, bitch, yes.
100%. And when they're determined to find out,
they will find out.
Yes. Like give you 100 chances, and then when that switch was like, nope, bitch, you had your chance. It. I was ruthless in the end because I knew he wasn't gonna tell me. He tried to deny it. And that's what I was telling you. So I had those programs on the phone, and I could hear, see, and everything. And it was funny because I was like, oh, I wonder if it's home yet. And so I just like, oh, let me go click on my app. And he was in his car. And then all of a sudden I hear him pull over and talk to a girl.
What?
It was like saying, so when are you going to be this? And she's like, damn, you're persistent. And I text him. I'm like, yeah, you're really persistent. And his face, I was watching him because I knew that I was going to like low-key expose myself. Yeah. He was tearing out his car. I watched him. God. Me and my work wifey, we call her. We're on the phone sitting there laughing. Like, look, he's like pulling that shit out. He's like pulling up his car. That's so toxic. God. I know that's toxic, but it's just after a whole year of him lying to me.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Literally, it destroyed me. I got down to like 80-something pounds. I was a shell of myself. I was so consumed in this. And
you needed to do that.
I needed the truth.
Yourself. That's how you found yourself in a way, you know?
I needed to be broken down completely to like be built up, and I'm so much stronger now.
What was the situation that like crossed the line and you were done with this whole situation?
We went to Bear Lake. There was a friend of ours that we both knew that was talking to me around the fire with everybody, but we were all talking, but I was sitting next to him. And then he didn't like that. So the next morning when he woke up, he was upset. He's the type when he's upset, he's like super quiet, but I think it kept building in him. On the way to the beach, he kind of started getting physical a little bit in the car. So I crawled in the back seat and he was throwing shit. I think because he felt so disrespected because his mind was going wild. And
he was detaching from the situation.
He felt me
There was no more control. Yes. Yeah, there was no more control.
Yes, I was doing my own thing. I was making my own decisions. He could see I was getting my weight back. I was getting my color back.
You had that glow.
Yes, I literally, people mentioned that glow. Coming home again, we were on the fire. Made sure I sat on the other side of it, but he was making his comments. My daughter comes up to me and I'm like, Mama, what's a cock block? And I'm like, this bitch.
Oh no.
He told my daughter, we need to stay here because we need a cock block mom.
Damn.
Like telling my kids this. So he's like saying, I'm going to bed. And he's texting me and I'm like, I'm not going in there. I'm not going to go in there and you be physical with me. And he's like, damn right, I'm going to be physical with you. And I have all these. I have all these texts telling me to go in there, but threatening that he's going to be physical. I'm not going in there. And I'm like, I'll sleep in the truck. But we're still out there with a group. We're all walking back to our trailers. And I sit on the bench. I don't want to go in. He's seriously saying in these texts, text, like, I'm gonna be physical with you.
Yeah, that's
and I'm like,
scary.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep in the truck. And then this guy comes walking, same guy from the other night, and he knows about it because he heard what happened earlier in the day. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he's like, "I know you're not okay." And I'm like, I'm fine.
At that time, you just want to be left alone.
Kind of. And him being there puts me in a position, right?
Awkward, super
yes.
awkward. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm okay. You should go. If he hears your voice, he's gonna,
yeah.
And he's like, if you don't feel safe, just go in my RV. And I'm like, no. He's like, no. I'll stay over here in the tent with someone else. I'm like, no. Even just going in your RV,
you
it will
never know. Yeah.
And he's like, okay, then if you're not gonna go in mine, just promise me you'll go in our friends. I think I stood up to like walk him away because the windows were right there. And I'm like, I know what you're doing. I appreciate it. And he's like, if you need anything, you let me know. And I'm like, I appreciate what you're doing. But if he sees you here, he's going to go ape. And he's like, okay. So he walked around his RV. And then all of a sudden I hear my RV door open. And I look and I see him go to the truck. And I think he was looking for me. And I was like, oh, shit. He saw him come around the RV and go into his RV. It's a big ass RV. And seen it. He just snapped.
So he tried to put two and two together. And it's like, oh, there's two we're talking.
In his brain, the way he snapped.
Because he could have done it. He probably would have done it with some other girl.
He was. I just found out. He told me the other day. He was emailing someone the whole time at Bear Lake. So he's punishing me
for what he's doing. Oh my God.
So my back was faced to him. Like, so I was like towards the beach and the fire was right here. And I just remember him coming from behind and grabbing me from the hair and just start dragging me out towards the beach. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop. And so he takes me to the beach. That was the one thing that was scary to me, is that he kept dragging me more and more to the beach. And I'm like, why? So people don't hear me.
Are you going to do something?
Yes. And like the way he came at me, and when I seen his eyes, they were black.
Did he black out?
He says he doesn't remember a lot of it, but he says he blacked out.
That's
and I believe
so scary, dude.
Because literally his eyes were black. I've never seen that look in his eye. He was dragging me, he was punching me, he's kicking me.
Punching you?
I got a hairline fracture in my ribs. The thing that made me leave, though, he picked up a rock and raised it above his head. When I saw that, I screamed. That's when I was like, I'm gonna fucking die if I don't make some noise.
Yeah.
Because I was like, low-key trying not to wake up people. Isn't that crazy that your mind does that?
Oh,
but
dude.
There was neighbors next to our camp. And when I yelled like that, a guy said, hey, what are you doing? So I seen him raise it. I pulled back. And I think when that guy's like, hey, what's going on? He pulled back.
Okay.
And so
Came to his senses.
Just barely like scuffed. He was going to hit me with it.
Oh my God, dude.
And
that's fucking crazy,
yeah,
dude.
and when he did that, it like barely like scuffed, but it broke him. It like woke him up because of that guy. When he let go of me, I pulled back and then I just got up and ran.
Wow.
I knew I had to escape that scenario right then. And I ran to my friend's RV and it was locked. I was like pounding on that, like freaking out. I don't think I would have done that if I truly didn't feel scared for my life. For a very long time, he had me convinced that it was my fault or I deserved it. Or if I wouldn't have done this, he wouldn't have done this. His favorite line he said all the time, you want to act like a man, I'll treat you like a man. Him doing that and him having that look in his eye over what? Yeah. Over his suspicion. And even more now, knowing that he was talking with girls while we're in Bear Lake, that just pisses me off even more. Seeing him in that state of mind, it was just like, I had to leave, but where? And that's where Ashley and Carlos came in. It's where I'm saying if it wasn't for them, I probably would have gone back because where would I have gone?
Ashley, Carlos, you're the fucking dopest people.
And
that's
even
dope.
Past that, they're like, this is your home. They made me feel like family.
Dude, that's beautiful because a lot of women don't have that.
Hopefully he has. He said he has, and hopefully he's done the work to fix these problems. He's a great dad. One thing I will put on there, he is an amazing dad. Yeah. And that's like when things came with this, when DCFS got involved, when I was doing the protective order and stuff like that, I said, please don't put the kids on there. And DCFS is like, well, he was doing this in front of the kids. And I'm like, no, like he is a good dad. He should not have anything with child abuse or anything like that. He is a good dad.
Now that you went through all of this and I see you glowing, you're killing it. The way you speak to me lets me know that it's like you're past this. You are looking for the next chapter. Yeah. You're understanding yourself and you're growing.
I'll continue to grow.
Exactly. That's a beautiful thing. What would you tell a young girl who is going through the exact thing you're going through? How would you help her out? What would you tell her?
Trust your gut, number one. Because there's so many times he truly made me feel like I was crazy. It's my fault. Like I deserve these things. And if you're feeling that, it's not right, find someone that you trust to validate your feelings or that is going through it. Weirdly, I learned a lot about it on TikTok, gaslighting and love bombing. I didn't know the names of them, but I'm like, yes, that's what's going on. And that validated me in my feelings, because he would be like, you're crazy. That didn't happen, or this didn't, or you're this or that. And so he would like confuse me with it. Find someone you trust, research what you're feeling, read about it if you don't have anybody, whatever you have to do, validate those feelings that you feel in your gut. And then just always work on your worth. Never put somebody else before yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Building your self-worth, it's not selfish. It's huge. And just going into any relationship, I think from here on, I need to come with me as a whole, with my own happiness that I can create, and come with somebody else who is whole with their own happiness, and then we'll grow together in our happiness. I will not rely on somebody else for my happiness ever again.
My happiness is my responsibility. Fuck yeah, Sarah. Yeah. Well, it's been a great, beautiful time. I'm so happy for you, Sarah.
Thank you.
You're killing it. You're growing so much, and I can see a beautiful future for you. You're going to find an amazing partner, an amazing grown soul. And I'm happy you came through. You told your story, and I feel like this is going to help a lot of the viewers, women that are going through this exact same thing you went through. This is going to motivate them to leave that and become a better version of themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of times we talk about on live.
Yeah,
TikTok.
Follow her on TikTok. She's a TikTok star.
No, bare bottom.
See, she even said it. If the kid said it, then that's it. You're a TikTok star.
My boys are like, Mom, my friends are seeing you on their For You page. Like, stop. Like, they said it's like cringy. I was like, oh, okay. You're cringy or you're jealous?
You should do it. What's your TikTok?
Sarah Martinez.
Rap snacks.
Rap snacks. We got rap snacks in this.
She just like called them out.
Yep. Shout out to the amazing live audience. Sarah, we got Sarah in this building. Come say hi, Sarah. You gotta say hi to the people. That's Sarah.
What's up?
Clea said what's up too. You know, thank you for supporting us and being here for us. But yeah, thank you guys for coming back to the Maikon Show. It's been a beautiful time.
So we're done.
I hope you guys. Clea, can you say you are now tuned into the Maikon Show?
What?
You are now tuned into the Maikon Show.
You are now turned into the makeup.
Maikon Show. Remember that song, the Diamond song? I want this. I want that. I want diamonds on. Remember that? Yes, she does. I have a video of her singing that song.
Yeah, she does have a video of you. Yes, she does.
I sent it to her.
She sent it to me, so I'm sorry.
She would do
But I don't remember.
We got the receipts, Clea. We got the receipts.
But I don't remember.
Doesn't mean...
But yeah, this was amazing.
It's fun.
Again.
Can we go to bed now?
Yes.
Yes, we're going to go to bed. We're going to go to sleep and eat because I'm hungry. I had a great time. Thank you. Peace.
That was
there
fun.
You go. See?
So we're done now.